First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. Welcome to the New Life Recovery Show, where if I think better, I do better. I hope that your holidays thus far has been peaceful. Hope you've been keeping it simple. I've certainly done my best to keep it simple. And as we prepare for the year that's coming in, I pray success for all of you and for myself. If you need a job, if you need training, if you need treatment, whatever you need, now's the time to get ready. So as we prepare for the new year and maybe even ending this year off with a bang, what better person to have on the show than my dear compadre? You know, I always call you Lisa Phillips. And forgive me, Mr. Alvin. I know.
You can call me the acronyms are still the same. You can call me LP.
LP.
The acronym
Change is difficult.
It is.
They say if you want something that you never had, you got to do something that you've never done.
Yep. And the difference is you have to separate words from action. You need to take action, because people tell me all the time, I want to do this, I want to do that, but have you taken action towards it? And so before the show, you and I were talking about finishing the year strong, getting serious about being able to provide for yourself and your family. It's serious out here. And if you don't think the next 4 years going to be serious, you're fooling yourself. And so, you know, I tell people all the time, it does not matter who is in the White House. What matters is, what are the people that's in your house doing? I'm not worried about this new administration, you know, because I already have my plans. And so how I'm getting my students ready for what's to come, you better fill your toolbox up with skills that are in demand, because I don't care who you are, you can't run this country by yourself. You need a skilled workforce. And we were talking about McDonald's. And one of the trainings I have is an online supply chain training. And if you want to know what the supply chain is, H&S Bakery supplies McDonald's with their hamburger buns throughout the city and different counties.
That's Pat Rackers, the bread man.
Yeah, so H&S Bakery is the supply chain. That's the supplier. The supply chain professional makes sure that they get the H&S Bakery products to the McDonald's locations that they're under contract with. If you Google how much a supply chain manager makes in Maryland, you are knocking on the door of 6 figures. They are ex-offender friendly. They're recovery friendly, because they need the skill. They need the skill. So can you imagine taking a job as a crew member of McDonald's, and that general manager finds out that you are a CSP certified supply chain professional? Oh, he's going to pull you to the side. Come here. I don't know how I missed this on your resume. You certified through Morgan State? You took a sterile processing professional training in Morgan State? I know about that program. So I know you on probation right now. You're going to finish your 90-day probation, but we're going to send you to the supply chain training, and they're going to pay for it.
So
but
Lisa,
now,
let's break it down for a second. Look, some people are depressed right now.
Yes, they are.
The holidays start, Thanksgiving.
That's real.
Some people, I got a problem with saying Happy Thanksgiving, but I ain't gonna get into my political standpoint. But it wasn't Thanksgiving for a lot of people. But that, the history aside, some of us have lost family.
Sure.
Dad, mom.
This was very difficult for me. This is the anniversary of my sister's death.
How do you cope?
This is very difficult. I took her Thanksgiving dinner last year, 2 years ago, up to the hospice.
How do you cope with it?
Well, I asked my sister, how can I live without you? What can I do? She told me, she said, do whatever makes you happy. And this is the season of you. I mean, the individual. You done been there for everybody else. Now it's time for you. And since my sister's death, I've been doing, Mr. Alvin think I'm crazy because I just do what I want. I wanted to pour into some women, incarcerated women. So I volunteered at the women's prison. I wanted to be a part of.
Why do you pour into those women?
Oh, because the students, they just couldn't believe. They had to ask the social worker and the warden, was I telling the truth that I was a inmate down there? They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And so you have to take your counsel from people that not only share your lived experience, but rose above, their challenges to become successful, because anybody can tell you what they've done, but can they tell you how they rose above it?
So the man who started this program, he shared that recently on the show. Actually, we were on television yesterday. Took the Donnie Glover show on the channel too.
Yes, on WMAR. I'm proud of you.
And then the founder, CEO of New Life Recovery Center, he came on the show and he was sharing how he can tell a person in the program that I was where you are 20 some years ago. They call it the therapeutic value.
Lived experience.
The therapeutic value of one person that knows the situation, helping someone who is now in that same situation, whether it's incarceration, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's gambling.
Sure.
This program right here, they help. There are people up in Horseshoe and Live spending their mortgage money.
Yep. And one of the things that I tell people is, if you want to be concerned about what's coming, it's not what's coming, it's what's not coming. And so you can burn through your mortgage money, if you will. The safety net programs are about to tighten the grip. They're going to always be.
I'm sorry.
No, they're going to always be available, but they're going to make sure that people understand what they call bootstrap living, because they are only going to give the help.
I predict that it's the people who voted for this new administration who are going to suffer the most.
Oh, they are. Oh, they are.
Who voted them in are going to be the ones who suffer the most.
See, some people are great marketers, and that campaign was effective at marketing to people that they don't know their pain. They don't know their pain. No, they're not. Right. And the thing is, just like I was sharing recently with someone, you have to also understand they trying to get rid of skilled, experienced federal workers that didn't support the campaign. Well, that's not easy, because it's not that you can't get rid of them. You can get rid of them, But who you gonna replace them with? And what's gonna happen is they're gonna learn early that you can't just replace people with entities with a warm body. You have to replace people with skills.
They think they can.
Yes, they think they can. And I was saying, so how are they going to know that Form 746D needs to go with this? They're not going to know.
They won't know. We about to have a hot mess.
It's going to be a hot mess. And all you need to know is look at who they're trying to put in leadership.
They wanted to put a man who deals with underage girls as the attorney general.
But you know what?
Tell you everything you need to know. And the people who voted for him, I wonder to myself, don't you have a son?
Right.
Don't you have a daughter?
Don't you have a daughter? Don't you have a mother? And speaking of mother, I was watching one of the news programs this morning, and they read a letter by the mother of the gentleman that they want to be the defense, to lead the Department of Defense. It broke my heart what the mother said about her son. I could not imagine writing an email about, she called him out. She said, you need to get help. You abuse women. Your mother is saying this. But I suspect he's going to have the same fate because the senators that's got to approve them, they got wives, they got daughters, they got nieces and granddaughters, and they got constituents that they got to go back and give an account for their vote.
Oh my goodness. Trump Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth's mother called him an abuser of women. His own family dynamics of Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's nominee for
your mother
had burst out into the open after an email from his mother criticizing her son over his treatment of women and calling him an abuser of women was leaked to a newspaper. A 2018 email from Penelope Hegseth accused her son of routinely mistreating women and displaying a lack of character. And this is what folks have voted for. Now,
and like I said,
this is insanity.
I have empathy.
Look, this show deals with mental health. If I think better, I do better. So now we're talking about not just individual mental health. We're talking about our collective mental health, our decisions as a nation.
Yep. Remember,
they're gonna get what they're looking for.
So, but look at who he put up there for the FBI. And you know that they want to raid the Obama's house and have President Obama doing the perp walk. They want to just dig their claws in that. Oh no. Yeah. Well, because you have to understand, President Obama got stuff done. He left the White House with no scandals. And you have to understand that, they want the humiliation that the Trump administration experienced. They want, remember, the head of the FBI got a lot of power, but can he convince an FBI agent to go into the Obama's house and put handcuffs on Michelle Obama? No. And like I said, this is not going to go like they think, because you got to get others to say yes. He can be the head of the FBI, but he's not on the task force that's going to raid the house. He's not writing the paperwork to get the judge to agree. So you got too many people that's got to agree.
What does that say about the mental health of this nation?
Well, it's going to be challenged. And that's why you have to get your individual house in order.
So tell
You
me
got
about
to focus.
Calvin. Tell me about Calvin. Calvin at McDonald's. Was it McDonald's? You don't remember the commercial had Calvin, or was that Burger King?
Oh,
It was a young black kid, and through the series of commercials, they show Calvin going from the fries to manager.
oh no, I got a lived experience. I have two classmates from middle school, two brothers. Remember when there was a Burger King down on Charles and Fayette years ago?
Charles and Fayette.
Under you know where the Harbor Bank is on Fayette
That's
Street?
Fayette. Yeah.
So across the street from there, it used to be a Burger King next to Mary Ann's. It used to be a Mary Ann's.
Oh my God, you done went back 30 years.
Oh yeah, because that's when I was in middle school. So these two brothers, Kevin and Stanley Hall, everybody used to joke them because they got off the bus on Charles and Fayette and they worked at the Burger King on Charles and Fayette. They are now multiple.
It was the northeast corner, northwest
corner. Right. And they are now multiple franchise owners. They own multiple Burger Kings. Everybody joked them because they understood that when you touch every part of the business, you got the skill set. Now, you know where the bodies are now. You know what the problems are. And that's why I'm really pushing. Don't
knock fast food.
Don't knock fast food. You know who has the best internal training program? Panda Express.
Let me guess. Slow down.
Go ahead.
Slow down. Calm down. Damn.
I'm sorry. That's my passion. That's my passion coming out.
The best training. I'm going to do a toss-up between McDonald's and Wendy's.
Nope.
All right, give me a third choice. Chick-fil-A.
Nope.
Okay. Who?
Panda Express has the best general manager internal training. They make $100,000. So can you imagine working at Panda Express and from the ground up? And if your friends come in there and joke, you laugh with them. Laugh with them because you're going to be laughing going to the bank. You're going to be laughing going to the bank.
I'm going to give you a lived experience. Are you old enough to remember Chicken George?
Yes.
So, and he might even be watching this show. His name is Buggy. He went to Walbrook High School. A lot of people out there know Buggy. Buggy, like a bug. And Buggy worked at Chicken George at Mondawmin.
In Mondawmin, yep, where the Burger King is.
Everybody knew where Buggy worked. Everybody went to Chicken George, but when Buggy was there, so Buggy got hit on all the time. Can I get an extra biscuit, an extra piece of chicken? Me, myself, I like some more of that dirty rice.
Man, legendary.
Buggy was a warden when it came to giving you anything because he shared in a group conversation that the first thing they tell you, you got to cut off your friends.
Yep.
If you don't cut off your friends, you won't have a job.
Nope.
And looking back, now mind you, this is 15. He was 15 years old, 16 years. Well, however old you have to be.
So it was in the 80s.
16 years old, and you got to cut your friend. You got to have that business mindset from day one.
You have to on day one.
Otherwise,
and you don't have a job. So I teach a module called Your Place in Line, and I use a picture of people standing in line and the line is so long that it bends. And I asked the students, where do you want to be in the line? And 90% of the time, students say, I want to be the first person. And I say, okay, if you want to be the first person, and then I go last. And I say, do you know where I want to be in the line? And they said, where? I said, I want to be behind the last person. Oh my God, Miss Lisa, that's line. You're going to be there forever. I said, no. If I'm behind the last person, that says that I embrace the learning that I need, because everybody ahead of me gonna tell me what I need to get up front by their body language. Somebody gonna storm out and say, they don't have this or that, or you need to have this form when you go. So no, I'm taking notes, but you gotta have the appetite to learn, and you learn in the back of the line. So Buggy know that cutting off his friends was the back of the line. He knew he had more to learn, and he couldn't be compromised.
He ended up going around the country, opening up fast food spots.
Oh, yes. I got a friend that was from Chicago. He was in a gang, and he went to a job fair with one of his cousins, and a hotel in Chicago was at the job fair. So the only position they had open was housekeeping. And the cousin said, let's leave. And what he didn't know is that he put in an application. Now, he just was tagging along. The cousin said, I don't want to clean no rooms. But the cousin, my friend, he filled out an application. He is now the vice president of franchise. So this particular hotel chain is a franchise. So he onboards new franchisees making $160,000 a year.
So I want to talk to you about that.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to our community? Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
This show is for all people, but when did we become so entitled?
So you have to look at what we're being fed. And I know people beat you over the head about social media, but social media plays a part. So if you're constantly being fed people shaking keys to a new business or a new car, people showcasing $800 hair installations. So if we're being constantly fed that, we believe that we don't have to work to get it. Does that make sense? And so if that's our constant diet, but nobody is telling us that, okay, if you want to, like I'll use my daughter as an example. My daughter gets those $300 nails and those $800 installations. But my daughter right now is in a Master's of Social Work program at Morgan, but she's already making over $80,000 a year. She can flex like that. The reason why the jails are filling up with women at such a fast rate is because the women are being fed and they want this, and so they are getting it by any means necessary, and it's ruining the culture. It's ruining our people.
That's why a lot of cats sell drugs. You got the cash, you can get the women.
And you know the one thing.
Look, that's why also so many people idolize celebrities.
Yeah. And you want to know, there is some good news.
Come on with some good news.
The good news is that first-time offenders is really reducing. So new offenders are not going to prison. And the reason why is because behind the walls it's getting so brutal now. It's getting so brutal that they see the mental health of their cousins every time they come every time they come back from prison. Does that make sense? And so they see in prison right now, like I work in Rikers Island, and the stuff that they are doing is so unbelievable, traumatizing. They had to, uh, make the prison rape laws more like they had to really adjust the prison rape laws because it's just getting rampant. Because people that are going to jail may have already been experienced with another man. So once does that make sense? And so they already have the appetite. So your 19-year-old son that is going to jail for the first time, it's brutal. It's brutal. Does that make sense? And so the hope is that they are seeing with their eyes what going to prison is doing. They're seeing with their eyes.
Gotta see it. We the people on the streets before we even get there. It's not a game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's jungle.
It's a jungle. And so, and not only that, when you walk into a Walmart, and I told you I'm walking with a cane now, and you see grandmama standing at the front door saying, "Welcome to Walmart," when she should be home with her 10 grandbabies sitting on her lap. Does that make sense?
So everybody's going back to work. There's no retirement in many cases.
No, grandmama should not be standing. First of all, let's park the car right there. But she definitely shouldn't be standing and working because she's still paying cell phone bills or buying cigarettes for grown people. And you want to know why? One of the biggest things that concern me is the workforce. People don't want to work now.
Yeah, can't rather stand on the corner all day.
Yeah, and the thing is, the challenge is the work shortage is so terrible now that, I was a part of a team that installed a whole health system inside the women's prison, where the women can get jobs even before they leave the prison, because people are ghosting these jobs that they claim they want.
But you know who won't? I was at a business this morning, 8:30. And I'm not putting anybody above us.
Oh, yes. I know exactly where you're going. I know exactly where you're going.
The first 2 employees I saw were Latinos. They
want to work. Of course.
We lost our hunger. We didn't got fat. We didn't got comfortable.
Oh, of course. Well, they even talking about that group politically. Remember.
Oh, but they voted. Many voted for Trump. Over half of them men voted for Trump, and so they about to see what they really gonna get, which is deported. Well, one of the things that they're the first ones on the front lines.
They're on the front line. Most of them don't think it's going to happen, and that's where the failure is. That's a campaign promise, and so, it's going to happen. But where they have to, I just want to know, when they see on the news, and that's why they trying to lock up journalists, because they don't want the journalists to show ICE, pulling a baby away from their father, putting him in a paddy wagon, and the baby crying. See, the media will show that.
Look who controls the media. The people who control the media allowed the whole story of this president's campaign.
But once again, you can't blame the media. You got to blame, not even blame. You got to give credit to the campaign for marketing to the right people.
Okay.
Everything about life is marketing.
Everything about life in America is about marketing and racism.
Sure, no, racism is definitely, there's one and then 1A, right? But if you are effective at selling somebody a bad bit of goods, they are going to have buyer's remorse.
Oh, you damn right they will. They be right there in
And
their
that's what,
social services trying to get some food stamps, EBT card, some Medicaid. Oh, I didn't know Trump is going to gut this. Oh, you didn't.
oh yeah.
Now,
But
speaking
the
of
thing
marketing,
is,
to be fair, Kamala and them didn't do as good a job.
exactly. Exactly. But it's
She got
okay.
in the race late. Biden took his time getting out, and Biden didn't come up there and do a lot of supporting and campaigning for. It was a
Well,
tricky
he probably
situation.
physically couldn't do it. But one of the
Should
things
have physically not probably stepped down and let her be president.
right. One of the things that
We
I
suffering
see.
because Biden didn't know when to go. They called him Sleepy.
Well,
Remember Trump used to call him Sleepy Joe. So he
well,
brought a great team. He brought a great team, but he could no longer sell it. He could no longer sell the idea.
right.
Yeah,
Well, one of the things that can't be overlooked is Biden was up there in age and he lost some capacity, but Biden had friends. I teach my students who want to be entrepreneurs. Everybody want to get the bag. Everybody want to get the money. No, you need friends. You need the right friends that will, right, support you, will write a letter of recommendation for you, that will speak highly of you. I get in so many doors, not because of me. I get in so many doors because of what people say about me. And so, because there's a difference between equity and currency. See, people want currency, which is the money. But what they don't realize, if you build enough equity, that drives the currency. You got to be valuable. Can I tell you something off topic a little bit?
Come on.
I'm going to take value in a relationship as an example. I was nothing like what Mr. Alvin, his taste. He likes skinny, short, light-skinned women. I'm tall, fat, and bald-headed. When he put me on the radar, everybody was surprised because I was nothing like what he, dated. But what they didn't understand is they didn't know how I edified that man, how I poured into him, how I showed him how to be better at what he does. And that's how I got the ring. And so I teach my students that you can be physically attractive, but a whole marriage is so much more than that. Now, I'm not saying we haven't had our struggles. I had to go through a brain tumor. But one of the things that Mr. Alvin can count on is me. He don't ever have to worry about if we're going to be short on the bills. We split the bills 50-50, but just because of who I am as a wife, I give him double. I don't care what he do with it, but he ain't got it. My contribution to this household is about $900 because I live very small. I own spend a lot of money because I do a lot to serve my students. But I give him $1,500. And like I said, he don't have to give me no explanation. He pays all the bills. I just contribute to the household. You got to be a helpmate. The woman that rises to the top is not going to rise because of her baked chicken or her macaroni and cheese. She's going to rise to the top in that relationship because she has skills that solve problems and bring people together. And I bring that to my marriage.
Preach, sister. So let's get back on coping with these holidays. It's what? December 2nd.
Yep.
Christmas in 23 days. A lot of young fathers out here stressing what they gonna do for Christmas. Because yeah, it's about the birth of Christ.
Yes.
But you don't come home with them gifts. Your hind parts is grass. And
well,
they're gonna talk about you. They're gonna talk about you for years. Don't come home with them toys.
What I tell my students is you gotta grow a backbone. And that backbone has to include that, number one, the commercial part of Christmas is one day. It's one day. But you have to be doing something with your life so you could have the right conversation with your children and with your kid's mother. Look, I may not come through for Christmas, but I'm in this program where they got me a job, but daddy is working on making things better so Christmas can be every day. You gotta take action on your life.
This is the thing that has always baffled me. We say it's about the birth of Christ. The reality is it's about commercialism. We don't even know that Santa Claus was actually a black man.
Right.
No, he really was. If you do the research, St. Nicholas was a black man.
Well, in the Bible, it talks about his hair. That tells you.
No, really, Santa Claus was from Turkey. He was a black man, brown skin.
His boy. Well, yeah, it's in the Bible. I'm talking about Jesus.
I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas was a black man.
Well, I believe Jesus was black too.
Jesus was black.
Right. That's what I was referencing. I wasn't making up.
Giving away nothing.
I had a brain freeze for a second. I was talking. That's how much Jesus is in my life. So I was referencing Jesus.
On that note, shout out to Cynthia Brooks and the B. Gaddy Center for Thanksgiving Eve. And so many volunteers come out and make it happen to help people. You know, Baltimore is really a place where if you fall down, somebody's going to pick you up. And if you need treatment on demand, if you're watching this show, call this place right away, New Life Recovery. Treatment on demand, 24/7, 240-253-3663. But Lisa, it's always a pleasure to have you on it because you
always a pleasure. Always.
Tell me about the sisters down there in Jessup. What do they say about you?
Well, they're a little sad now because where the Sally Port is and where my classroom is too difficult for me to walk. So I had to suspend my teaching until the surgery, after the surgery. But God blessed the
Don't
social
worry,
work.
we're gonna put you to work on this show. Don't worry, I'm gonna have plenty of work for you to do.
Oh no, that's fine. But no, they moved my classroom. The warden gave the social worker permission to move my classroom closer to the Sally Port so I won't have so far to walk. And so I'm going back. I just can't do it now because my leg is, I'm just having too much difficulty. But so they are sad, but it's wonderful because before I started volunteering, I put resources in place. I reached out to all my friends in DHS, and my friends showed up. I had a meeting at the MTA who loved the program, and they said, your program is probably one of the best ones. We give free bus passes to. So they give weekly bus passes to, some programs, but they gave me 30 monthly bus passes, digital bus passes that can be reloaded every month because they like the program. DHS also provided me with a team that will get them approved for food stamps and TANF right away so they can have something coming in. See, there's a speed to life. And you can be motivated and pumped up all you want, but you need resources. So that's what I did. And I'm so grateful to God that he has surrounded me with people who say yes to me. So the ladies love me down there.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's
very important. But you have to have resources for people. You can't cheer people on and they go home to an empty refrigerator. You can't say, you can do it, and you don't have a job for them to look out for. And so one of the reasons when you hear students respond to me or see them respond to me, thank you, Miss Lisa, it's because I'm not just a cheerleader, I'm a doer.
We can be so good at talking and not good at doing.
Yep. No, I'm a doer. I'm a doer. And if I can't get it done, I promise you I know somebody who can. I recently got a warrant recalled. And when I first went to the courthouse, they turned me down, but I asked for feedback. So they gave me feedback. I did everything they told me to do. And the next thing I know, the student called me. He said, Miss Lisa, I couldn't sleep at night with that open warrant. I don't know how to thank you because they recalled the warrant. They recalled the warrant and threw my case out. See, that's how you got to give people hope.
That's so important. I'm dealing with a situation right now with a young man with an open warrant. I need to send him to you.
Listen, I'm going to have to start charging you.
You can. You can.
That's because Mr. Albert, like, I'm tired of you doing free stuff.
No, you got to get paid. But also, you and I know, you don't know how often this damn phone blow up. People want this.
Oh, yes, I do.
They want, oh my God. One time I got a phone call. I'm in Owens Mills, got a phone call from Sandtown. They said, we got a fire. I said, call the fire department.
Right. Get out the house.
That's why we need you. And I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. So, once again, I live my life on speed in terms of getting things done quickly. Now, I'm not saying fast, I'm saying efficiently. Does that make sense?
No question.
Because I'm also very careful about how I utilize my resources. I share resources, but you got to be the real deal Holyfield. I'm not just going to give you resources to get you out of a situation. We're going to sit down elbow to elbow and plan.
And here's the other thing. When somebody has helped you, because we all can fall, when you do get on your feet,
go get somebody else.
help somebody else, you stingy
Help
self.
somebody else. Help somebody else.
Why is it the first people in line for help too often are the last ones to render help?
Oh, I tell my students all the time that don't nobody help me. I said, when the last person, tell me the name of the last person you helped. I helped my boyfriend get a boot off his car. I mean, somebody you didn't know. When my children were young and I worked a job where I had terrible hours and I couldn't afford after school care, I went door to door on my block. I lived on Longview Avenue in East Baltimore. And I found out who among my neighbors were retired, didn't drive. And so the ones that were available in the evening when I needed after school care, I told them, if you watch my children after school, not only will I pay you, I'll pick up your prescriptions. I'll go to store for you. I will see, this was before all this delivery stuff was out. My sons will take your trash out. You have a lot of seniors that can't lift stuff. So you gotta be the help that you need. I needed too much help. I had a meeting this morning. I got a big project going with the Anne Arundel County Housing Authority because I got to make sure my governor, Annapolis is the state capital. And so I got to do things to make Annapolis shine because that's his backyard. So I had a meeting with public housing and I told them, they said, well, everything sounds wonderful, but how are you going to do it? Because we can't afford you. I said, I take care of my partners. And my priority is that I come with my own. Like, I'm better than BYOB. I'm better than that. Like, I bring my own funding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to become a SNAP training provider again. So SNAP will, pay for it. Oh, no, no. I know that I'm not affordable in some aspect of things. But just because I have delivered to reach that don't mean that I'm not going to help people who can't afford me. Like my husband get mad because I do free trainings. I charge $50. I charge $175. I charge nothing for people that can't afford me. But I'm blessed because I get paid. I have multiple streams. So I get paid in other aspects. One of the things when I got saved, I asked God to do was to decrease my appetite for greed. Don't make me greedy. That's why I do my own hair. That's why everything I buy probably costs $9.99 because I asked God to deliver me from materialism and greed, and He did.
Is materialism a problem?
Oh, it's a culture killer. It's a dream killer. They got a new iPhone coming out. I think it's $1,000. If you are paying $1,000 for a phone, and yet your children still getting free lunch at the school, you're not a good steward. Right. Yeah. You're not a good steward. Like I said, my daughter is probably getting my grandson a new iPhone, but my grandson has been on the honor roll since he started school. So the higher the achievement, the higher the reward. No child that's bringing home regularly grades should get a $1,000 iPhone. My grandson, when he turned 14, he wanted to go on a cruise. His mother took him on a Disney cruise, and she asked all of us to donate $1,000, and we did it happily. Because as long as he's bringing home those grades, he can get anything he wants from us. Because it's education. Education is your equity. That's your foot in the door. And, you know, I got friends at Princeton that said, Lisa, send him to us, but his mother wanted him to go to a HBCU. You know, like I can get him in Princeton, you know, but
we can go back to a HBCU. I love my HBCUs, but I would, hey, nothing wrong with Princeton, Harvard, if you can get in there, especially for nothing.
Oh no, I can get him in there and get him
in my house. Before you even get to school, I'm the HBCU.
I'm HBCU too, and I respect her.
I'm gonna give you so much Black history under my roof. You gonna be teaching HBCU.
Right. And so, but I respect his mother because he's been in schools with Caucasians all his life. So I respect what she's trying to do.
Trying to balance it out.
Yes, because he's lived in Middle River since he's been in school.
Ain't that many
and do you know Middle River has one of the best public school systems? Ask me why.
Why?
Lockheed Martin, all the defense contractors that work for the federal government live out there. And so my grandson he's been in a gifted and talented program since he was in the first grade because he's been going to school with gifted and talented children.
Good stuff.
And so I wanted to be closer to my grandson. So in 2019, when me and Mr. Alvin was on a break, I got our townhouse right walking distance from my grandson. I wanted to be so close to him. I lived out Middle River for a year, but me and Mr. Alvin got back together. This is his house, and I moved back in here, you know. So, but I got to spend a whole year with my grandson just walking to my house. It just made my heart smile because he's so smart. And the reason why he's the chosen one is because his father is my son that got carjacked and is now 100% disabled. And so God saw fit for my son to have a son because my son was smart just like his son was. He was going to Mount St. Joe. And, you know, some people carjacked him and it traumatized him into a rare form of schizophrenia because it was so much trauma. You know, the brain is very fragile. And so
what are
he's
some
smart.
things we should be pondering on as parents, as grandparents going into the New Year's? We only got a few minutes, but what is it? How can we pull this all together? What's our
exposure is the word. Exposure. I am teaching a summer camp. I partnered with AutoZone. I'm going to teach young people who sign up how to do a car wash kit, and that kit is going to be sold in AutoZone. And so that exposure opens up the conversation. Now, if you want to continue this, you got to stay in school. AutoZone going to let them go live to show their work and get people to come and buy the car wash kits. And the best time to create car wash kits is a kit that can that can work all seasons. So the word is exposure. Expose your kids to things that will open up the conversations.
I saw this young couple on social media, and they were teaching the little girl how to dance. But the first word of the song was the B word. And I'm like, do you really, what happened to common sense? Who teaches an infant the B word? This is where we are. The rules are changed. There are no rules.
So remember, I know we got to go, but remember I had a party business. So I had a 9-year-old party, and she had a lot of uncles. And so it was her birthday. And so they asked my DJ to put the bird flu song on, and they was throwing dollars at her. And I told the grandmother, I said, this is not good. And the grandmother like, no, it's her day. It's her day to do her thing.
HIT.
I saw the grandmother years later when the little girl was 16. She dropped out of school. She stopped going to school in the 8th grade because them throwing dollars at her, that's what her brain, see, what parents fail to realize is you have to focus on your child's brain development. What her uncle,
and you know what?
Right, what her uncles was doing by throwing dollars at her caused her brain to focus on other things, and look what happened.
They turned out their own family member.
Yeah. I told the grandmother, she was like, oh no. Sometimes our caregivers and parents are our worst,
enablers.
Yeah, worst enablers.
Should have locked her up. Starting the career of a stripper at 1 year old.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And they should be taken out back and whipped. You done turned out your own family member. I done heard it all. I'm going to a 12.
But there's not, they her uncles. No, but you don't see the danger in what they're doing.
Be locked up for being an idiot. Just like them. Remember Chuck E. Cheese? You couldn't even go to Chuck E. Cheese because it looked like a strip club.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Lisa, how can people get in touch with you? And again, if you need treatment on demand, do call New Life Recovery. We're down here in St. Paul Street. You got a whole hotel, a lot of rooms. Treatment on demand. Alcohol, drugs, gambling.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
663. Go ahead and put a plug in for your business there.
So they can call me directly, 443-591-2658. But please don't call me if you're not ready. I can only work with people who are ready.
Tell them what you do. Tell them what you do, Lisa. You help people get jobs, right? She helps people get jobs. If you need a job, call Lisa. Let me help you out. (443-591-2658). 443-591-2658. People pull me up all the time. They need a job, but she's more than just a job. She's going to help you change your life. If you need training, if you need help getting into the workforce, 443-591-2658. And again, this show is brought to you by New Life Recovery Center. Special thank you to Mr. Ven McCormick. If you need treatment on demand, around the clock, anytime, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 240-253-3663. My name's Donnie, last name's Glover. Entered the winner for the long haul, baby. And you have a great afternoon.